In this video we're going to look at the Cartesian plane, and here are a couple of examples of what a Cartesian plane looks like. Right, well, the Cartesian plane has two axes. We have an x-axis, which is our horizontal axis, and we have the y-axis, which is our vertical axis. Now each axis has positive numbers over here and also negative numbers, which are over there, and are in essence number lines with positive and negatives crossing each other at the point over here, which is called our origin. Now to plot any point on our Cartesian plane, we need an x value and we also need a y value, and normally they are given to us inside a bracket. Our x values are always found on the x-axis and our y values are always found on the y-axis. Okay, so if I was asked to plot point A, which is 4 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis, I would do it like this. Firstly, my x-axis is going to be 4, so I'd go to the x-axis over here and I'd find out where 4 was, and 4 was over there. I would then identify my y point, and that is at point 3, and here is my y-axis and here is point 3. I can now extend these points, and where they intersect is where my point is actually going to be located. So the point of intersection is over there, and that therefore will become point A. The most important thing to remember is to always plot your x-axis first, followed by your y-axis. So your x-axis is always before your y-axis. Alright, a little bit of practice for you. See if you can plot these points on the Cartesian plane over here. If you don't have square block paper, maybe draw some quite roughly and see if you can give it a go. Put the video on pause and come back when you're ready. Alright, well, how did you go? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to write my x and y, because that will be my coordinates. And I know therefore that all of my x points will be these, and all of my y points will be those ones there. Right, well, let's do point A. So my x point is 1, so we'll just draw a couple of lines up there, and my y is going to be 3, which is over there, and we draw some lines across there, so that point over there is in fact going to become point A. Let's do B. Well, point -3 is sitting over there, so we will draw a couple of lines up there, and my y is actually 4, which is over there, so we'll join those two up over there, and where they intersect is over there, and that therefore is point B. C is at -5, which is sitting over here, and I'm just going to draw a couple of lines down there, and the y value for that one is also -5, which is down there, so where those two intersect each other, which is over there, that is going to be point C. And finally point D, I'm starting on my x-axis at the value of 5, alright, all the way down, and my y value is -3, which is over there, and I'm going to rule my lines, and where the two intersect is going to be my point D. Alright, well, I hope you got all that right. Now there's something interesting about these coordinates, so let's look at point A. We have a positive x and a positive y. So the coordinates in this first quadrant are both going to be positive. So positive and positive, so positive for x and positive for y. If we have a look at B, we can see that our x is a negative value and our y is a positive value. So in this coordinate over here, we're going to have a negative x value and we're going to have a positive y value. Point C shows us that our x value is a negative and our y value is a negative. So this point over here, we're going to have a negative x value and we're going to have a negative y value. And finally, point D shows us that we're going to have a positive x and a negative y. So we're going to have a positive x and a negative y value. And that's pretty much all there is to plotting points on a Cartesian plane.